Welcome to the Grappling Grappling Rewind podcast.
Welcome to this week on the Grappling Rewind podcast. In this week's show, we're going to recap the ONE FC grappling matches that happened this weekend, including Mikey Musumeci's defense of the bantamweight title. We are also going to preview the stacked Who's Number One card headlined by Nicholas Meregali versus Kaynan Duarte and Ffion Davies versus Jasmine Rocha for the flyweight title. As always on the show, I'm your host, Maine, my co-host
Josh.
How you doing, Josh?
Good.
We just had a big day of refereeing yesterday, so we're doing the podcast on a Sunday. Should be good. We have some really, really fun matchups to talk about on Who's Number One. ONE FC was a ton of fun. I think you and I both watched it live, and those cards are always amazing, so I love getting to recap those. Again, there's a reason I flew out when they were in the U.S. all the way to Denver to go and watch them. So before we get into that, let's do a little bit of the news. The IBJJF GP finally has more of the names announced, and we also have some of the super fights announced for that card as well. The GP looks stacked. For the men's GP, we have a $40,000 GP. The names in it for the absolute GP are Victor Hugo, Kaynan Duarte, Felipe Andrew, Gutenberg Pereira, João Gabriel Rocha, and Rolando Montero.
There's still two more that have yet to be announced at this time, but there's also super fights for this. That'll be pretty awesome with Kaynan Duarte versus Jan Lucas Picapau. Janaína Lebre will take on Emily Fernandez.
She's the former winner for the women's GP.
Yes. And Jackson the Guy will take on Jonathan Alves, which is a rematch of the semifinals of the weight class this year.
For Worlds.
Yes, for Worlds.
That Jonathan took.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Ronaldo Jr. will face off against Sebastian Rodriguez, who is not on Who's Number One now. There's your news.
That's
There's
news this week. So Hunter Colvin had an injury in training. Seems like he's having some heart issues.
He got hit in the chest, and it threw off his fibrillation.
Yeah. So
I don't know if that was actually. I don't think fibrillation is the correct term for it.
I'm not Dr. Josh. I'm not sure either.
He got hit in the chest. It threw his heartbeat off, and they had to put it back into rhythm.
Yep. So he's out of that. Again, wish Hunter all the best. Hope that he is fine and he's able to return to training. It's always scary when injuries like that happen in training. I'm not sure if that was training for MMA or jiu-jitsu. I assume with this matchup in Who's Number One coming up, it was in jiu-jitsu training, wrestling training. That's why you should pull guard.
That's what Miranda posted, right?
Yeah, because Hunter posted it and it was on. I looked at his story. That's what it said. So again, best wishes to Hunter. Hope that again, heart stuff is super scary, and again, wish him the best. But it is unfortunate that now his matchup with Sebastian Rodriguez is off, but Sebastian has a super fight on the IBJJF GP
which
coming
is in
up
September.
Yes, I think September 1st, right? Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, it's not on the big flow page for this month. It is on the next month because they have it all parted out by month. What other news do we have? There's not a whole lot of other news. We had We had ADCC in Phoenix this weekend as well. There's some matches. That was all broadcast. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet because Josh and I we spent about 13 hours or 12 hours refereeing an event yesterday, so I haven't got a chance to digest any of that. But
I know Big Dan won the absolute.
That is not surprising. He wins most of them he's at. It's either him or Luke Griffith, pretty much. Then those guys kind of swap back and forth. Again, two new wave guys. They kind of swap back and forth who enters, and then they win it, and they're still juniors. And you're like, all right. So, yeah, Big Dan. I'm curious to go back and watch his matches. There were some huge entrants. I saw some highlights from Andy Varela where he's just like scrambling to guys back off of wrestling exchanges and just choking people. There was like 3 or 4 different matches I saw from him where he just looked in rare form. So can't wait to see him back probably at Trials again. I'm not sure he's going to get an invite slot, but would love to see him back in Trials. So that's coming up in September. So again, more and more grapplers now have ADCC experience, and more people are talking about flying out to these ADCC Opens to like, oh man, I want more ADCC matches. I want to get that experience. I want to know so that when Trials comes up, I'm even more prepared. These Trials are going to be like nothing we have ever seen because now all of these athletes that are on that level have actual ADCC experienced going into Trials, and they're not just getting 1 or 3 matches or 4 matches every year or every other year. So it's going to be crazy.
I mean, the Opens seed you in the actual Trials, right?
So there's a discussion, and
Okay.
and I think
I figure you would have a
Yeah,
little bit more insight on that
it's
one.
been discussed. I don't know if it's been discussed for ADCC or outright for us. I know we've talked about it at Grappling Rewind.
Okay,
I'm not certain if that's something.
I wasn't sure. I wasn't
Yeah.
sure if that's how it worked.
I would
thought I had heard
assume
something
that would
like
see.
but
I assume they are. I don't know for sure, but I know they're moving to smooth comp, so that things are run way better, and that's awesome. I'm super happy. They used smooth comp for the ADCC Open that happened in Canada, and it ran well. So they're moving to that now, and I love smooth comp for every tournament that runs it. It just makes things smooth. So that has a seeding function on the back end of it that I know, and I assume that they will use that for trials, because with 200 plus people per weight class, like Mo already did the seeding like previously. He'd like look at the bracket, look at the guys, and seed them out manually. But with the opens, I assume that they have.
I mean, that would make a lot of sense.
Yeah, I can honestly, I'll just probably reach out to him and be like, Mo, are they going to seed him? And he'll be like, yes, and that's where we go. So it's cool that we have Phoenix. I'm going to pull through this week probably and watch a bunch of those matches from Phoenix. Definitely watch the Absolute, but from the highlights I'm seeing and what I'm hearing from the other judges and referees that were there, the level was as high as ever, if not higher. So I can't wait. Chicago's coming up, and then we'll move into, there'll be an open at Trials. So we're going to have more of these.
Cool.
So looking forward to it. Any other news?
Not that I can think of.
Miranda was at New York Open. She'll talk about that when she gets back, probably. So that's why we had Josh
That's why
here.
it's me. Stuck with me this week.
Good. Oh, we're also this is episode 299. So next week is episode 300. You got any fun things you want us to do for 300? Shoot us a DM. So we've been doing this show for
shoot us a
6
DM
years.
where Maine will say, "Yeah, that's a good idea," and then never release that episode.
200 is not getting released. We have
the behind the scenes.
The behind the scenes 200. It was a fun episode, but it's one of those that's going to be stay locked in the vault. But 300, let us know. So, Josh, let's move on to the recap of 1FC. Again, 1FC, these cards are awesome. This one was in Lumpini Stadium in Thailand. Dude, every time I watch 1FC, I'll watch for the grappling matches, and then I'll stay for the rest of the card because they're always bangers. We were watching it at Open Mat at the gym
Friday.
No, my class.
Yeah.
My class on Friday. Josh was like, "Hey, does that TV work?" And I'm like, "Yeah." All right, turn on one video. We can watch one while I taught. So first match was first match we're gonna talk about is Tye Ruotolo versus.
Yeah, you gotta open up that.
Yeah, it's an abbreviated name. Give me the name, Josh.
Saeed. I'm going with that.
Saeed versus Saeed Arslanov.
Arslanayev. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, nailed it.
Getting there, Josh. 6 years, 300 plus episodes at this point. So Tye tapped him twice.
Yeah,
that's basically
hilarious.
the big. Tye was taking on someone.
He heel hooks him. He whacks him on the butt.
He just taps him one time,
really hard,
in a way that makes that I don't know what else you would be doing there other than tapping. And then Tye, the gentleman he is, looks at him and goes, "Did you tap?" And he goes, "No." And Tye goes,
attacks him.
Tye goes, "Okay." And Saeed is kind of on his side, and Tye just goes, "Okay," and just like
takes his back.
Guard passes him and then chokes him in what? 10 more seconds? 15 more seconds at most. So it was just a weird sequence. Tye looked phenomenal the whole time. Entered the legs, got him down, went to a heel hook. I mean, it is one of the best grapplers in the world in Tye Ruotolo. Your third place at ADCC in the Absolute, taking on a guy that is not an ADCC. He's an MMA fighter. He's a very good fighter, but just not of the level of Tye Ruotolo. In Tye's post-fight interview, though, he did call out two people that I would love to see him fight. He called out Isaac Michel, and he called out Pedro Mourinho. I think the Isaac Michel match is fun, but I would really like to see him against Pedro Mourinho in a cage, because I think that Pedro is one of the more frustrating guys for people to deal with, and he has a really, really difficult style, and I'm curious to see how the cage would factor into that, and how the wrestling would how Pedro's wrestling style of kind of pushing you out and like controlling the space would play in a cage where there's no mat to push you out of and to force you to come back in. It would be a really interesting style dynamic. I think we've seen Pedro in SUG before, in Chael's Submission Underground, but
so.
it would have been a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And I don't remember. He beat everyone there, I think, when he was a purple belt and a brown belt. But I don't know if I've seen him there as a black belt. He's looked phenomenal, but I would love to see him take on Tye in 1FC for the 85 belt. I think they said that Tye's next match is going to be for the 185-pound belt. And I think that'll be inaugural. So I'm amped for that.
Some of these, they're just like throwing people at the wall.
Yeah, a little bit.
Like, until it becomes an organization that has a lot of people.
Has a big roster of guys.
Yeah. They're going to be throwing dudes that you're like, who?
And that's
but it's fine. It's great because it just showcases.
Just showcases how good Tye Ruotolo is.
Yeah.
That he can tap a dude twice in a cup.
Yeah.
And what? And the whole match is 239.
I just like that they're just trying to figure stuff out. They're like,
Yeah.
we're just going to throw this guy who's really good from this place. Let's see what they can do.
Yeah. They're actively building.
They're
divisions.
building them. Yeah.
Danielle Kelly has a matchup announced coming up versus
for that super card where
yes. I'm blanking on her opponent.
Jessica.
Yes, Jessica. So that'll be a fun match. I think they've gone against each other once or twice before. I could be wrong about that, but that'll be fun. It'll be Nogi. I think that is for either number one contender or
Title
for
match.
the title. It's title
match.
And Danielle Kelly's been asking for that title for a while now. So I'm happy.
The main card is 4 women's matches, and I think 3 of the 4 of them are title matches.
That's awesome. So super excited for that. We'll preview that when that gets closer. That's coming up, I think, September as well. Like, I think mid-September, like 24th, I think,
or October.
Something like that. But so that'll be fun to see Danielle Kelly in a title fight. But again, Tye Ruotolo, I don't have a lot. That was kind of the talking point for the match, was that he tapped him with a heel hook and then tapped him. But I love that Tye is a gentleman here, because he could have just blown through the leg, but he gave him time to kind of half tap and then stopped and then just tapped him again.
You just don't know with the guys in one that they throw at you. I mean, Mikey blew that guy's leg up to 8 billion pieces, and he was like, I'm not going to tap. And it's like, all right, cool.
Yeah, that was crazy. So, moving on. Let's take a stopover at heavyweight MMA. Buchecha took his first professional MMA loss. We typically don't cover MMA much on the show, but it's Buchecha, and who's one of the most decorated heavyweight grapplers of all time. You can make an argument easily, especially in the modern era. He took on give me his name, Josh.
Umar Kane.
Rug. Everyone calls him Rug. I called him something last week that was not Rug. It was like Rang or something, or some mess up of his name.
We can go quickly through this because it was bad.
It wasn't the best show. Both guys got tired. And Rug is a good enough wrestler that Buchecha wasn't able to take him down at will.
And he hits hard enough that it scared Buchecha away. And Buchecha is early in his career, but really needs to work. It's your
5th fight.
Really needs to work on his striking and his cardio.
Yep. And that's, again, so this is we have watched enough jiu-jitsu heavyweights come in MMA. This is a not infrequent hurdle and stumbling point that most of them have. I mean, that's Rodolfo in the UFC.
But he's a 185er.
No.
Yes.
He's cutting from 250, wherever Rodolfo is. He's cutting from being... he's got to be 205. Rodolfo has to be a 205er.
No, I guarantee you that he is at 185.
Look, everyone that's above my weight is immediately a light heavyweight.
Where is it?
I forgot he's the black belt hunter.
Middleweight.
All right, he is 185. That's crazy.
I think he did his first fight at
maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
Oh, he's got a fight coming up apparently.
Hell yeah. So again, it's not.
No, he won recently.
It's not an infrequent stumbling block for fighters coming into MMA for the first 6 or 7 fights to have a cardio fight where it's you have a guy that you just can't beat with the thing that you are world class in, and you have to strike with him or do something else. And so Buchecha takes his loss. Rung got penalized for grabbing the gloves, grabbing the shorts. Herb Dean eventually stepped in. They had to explain the 1FC rulings for how that affected the scoring because they judged the whole fight. It didn't. But Omar still got a 50,000 bonus for handing Buchecha his first professional loss. So I don't got much more on that, Josh. You have anything else?
No.
All right. John Lineker, actually, Supergirl was on this card. John Lineker were on the card. Both won. John Lineker finished his fight with a TKO with 4 seconds left. Watch that fight. Also watch
Tye break a dude's arm.
Tye broke David Kira's forearm with a kick standing in the 3rd round. In the beginning of the 3rd round. It was a wild fight. Then we move on to Mikey Musumeci versus... That was a good fight up into that, actually. Mikey Musumeci took on Jared Brooks, who is the flyweight champion for one, which is 135. Yeah, I always
They're always
forget.
one weight up from what they say it is.
So he was looking to take the flyweight title off of Mikey at 135, and Mikey went, no, that's not going to happen.
Yeah. I don't know who you can throw at him to stop him.
At the weight class, I'm not sure either.
Nobody.
Only one I want to see. There are 2 matches I want to see him at. I want to see him against Baby Shark and Fabricio Andre. Those are the 2 guys that I want to see him in Nogi. Baby Shark, Diogo Hayes, is really who I want to see him against. But I don't know if Diogo would sign the exclusive deal with one, because now one, it's coming out that it is an exclusive signing that you are signing to only compete in one, and a lot of grapplers are really, really hesitant to do that because that's unusual in grappling. So
yeah,
this is a neat finish. So Jared Brooks, to his credit, weathers the storm for about a little over 7 minutes, and then Mikey locks up a beautiful. Kind of a neat triangle.
Reverse triangle, and he was just attacking the arm?
Yeah. Well, he's from the first one was, but the second one, he grabs an overhook on the arm, and Rachel actually walked into the house from being out and came to watch this fight with me. Mikey has a really cool overhook on the arm when he locks up the triangle initially, and I was like, oh, he's going to try to get the arm, do the under the arm bar when he's in the triangle, and eventually that's actually what he got him with, because he was able to trap Jared Brooks' arm from the guard. If Jared Brooks didn't post, Mikey actually collected with an overhook first to force it there, and then Jared Brooks was never able to get it back because Mikey had his posture controlled down in the triangle. It was a really neat transition that we don't see used a lot. It's pretty uncommon, but Mikey looked phenomenal. I was really impressed here with Jared Brooks' submission defense. Overall, again, you don't get to that level in MMA without having really good submission defense. But
good at hand fighting.
Yeah, the hand fighting was good. Also, the leg lock defense. There was 2 different times when Mikey inverted to look for the back and inverted to look for the legs, and Jared Brooks went, had really, really good defense, cleared the knee line. He did a really good job both times for both leg locks, clearing the knee line, getting his foot out, and forcing Mikey to come back to the guard. Mikey looked to pass on top once, but then was really, really happy to sit back to his butt and play from his guard, which is really in 1FC where we've seen Mikey most comfortable. He forced Jared Brooks to take him down early in the match.
He always does that. He just sticks his leg out. He's like, take me down.
Yeah. So we can do the ground stuff, so we don't get a repeat of Tye versus DeRitter in Denver. It's like, somebody take someone down. So I kind of appreciate that Mikey does that. It's like, look, I'm not a wrestler. I'm not going to wrestle you. We want to do the ground stuff because that's what we're being paid to do. Take me down. Oh, no, I'm on the ground. I mean, even Gordon did it versus Galvao. We're seeing guys being really willing, if they're guard players and there's a ban on pulling guard, or a reason you can't pull guard, letting guys getting taken down if there's no points. Like in 1FC, there's no points for a takedown. In the beginning of ADCC, in that first 10 minutes for finals, there are no points for takedowns. You'll get initiation score for it, but we've seen a couple of guys in the last year elect to take this strategy, and it's kind of funny that it's working out well for them. So,
yep.
Jared Brooks is unable to defeat Mikey Musumeci. Mikey Musumeci gets another win. I want to see him versus Baby Shark. War for Fabricio Andre, but really, Baby Shark is the guy that I want to see him take on. That's, I think, the only guy in Nogi that's going to have a really, where I would go, ooh, I'm not going to immediately bet on Mikey, but you got to get that level of guy, or you got to get guys that can't make 135. And that's the other problem is, Gabriel, you could throw Gabriel Souza in him or at him, but Gabriel Souza I don't think can make 135. Makes 45. Damian Anderson wants to have that match, and that's a really interesting match because Damian Anderson has a win over Gabriel Souza by heel hook. He recently went against him again, and Gabriel Souza was able to beat him was it Toro or was it? It was another really recent card. And so that's a matchup that I would be interested in, but I would really like to see Damian Anderson get like a couple more big wins before making that jump over. But Damian's really into it, and he's a guy that's on the rise, and he's at B team, and the B team guys are looking better and better and better. Damian took third at ADCC trials, so he wants the matchup. I'd be interested in that matchup, but
it'd be interesting.
Diogo is the guy I want to see. Like that's I think the biggest challenger.
That would be a solid match.
Yeah. Your 66 kilogram ADCC champion versus your 1FC champion. It's a literally cross-organization super fight. And I think it would give us a good a good understanding of how Mikey would do in ADCC, because like that was kind of, he's gotten 2 invites. He's been out both times for various reasons. Would really like to see him do that.
Wouldn't cut weight at all for it?
Yeah, but I don't think he cuts much weight for one, because he's done rooster weight, but he has to cut a bunch of weight to get rooster weight. But for light feather, I don't think he has to cut. So, and it's kind of what Kyle did. Kyle never cut either, and so he's kind of that thought process. So, Mikey looks great. Mikey always looks great, and he gets another title defense in one.
Yep.
And then that's really it. Everything for one. And then the main event, Chingiz Alizov took on Marat Grigorian again, rematch. Banger of a fight, some of the best kickboxing. This honestly might be, I watched it live, it was a little late, I was a little tired. This might be the best kickboxing fight I've ever seen. Just as far as excitement and how good Alizov is. So we don't really cover this on the podcast, but I watched the whole card and I was like, Mikey's fight, I'll watch the next fight. It was phenomenal. This whole card kept me entertained from start to finish. So great for 1FC. I love that they are putting on super exciting matches and fights with all of these different disciplines. They're explaining it, the broadcast as well. I'm not getting bombarded with ads during or after. It's just,
they have commercials in between each fight,
which is fine, but it's like 1 or 2 commercials, and then they move on and the broadcast starts again. So it's really a big contrast to what we're used to seeing in the US for broadcasting, and it's awesome. So, Josh, you got anything else on 1FC?
No.
Other than it's awesome and it's super fun to watch. All right, let's move into the banger of a card. I want to start with the main event. We got who's number
119, Meregali versus Duarte.
Yep. These go. So Kaynan Duarte and Nicholas Meregali.
Comes on Thursday.
I know. It says it starts at 8 p.m., which is usually when the main card starts. But it's EDT.
Eastern time?
Is it EST? Eastern Standard Time?
Eastern Daylight
Time? Eastern Daylight. I always forget when it's EDT that Eastern Daylight Time. It's going to go late. I'm inviting some people over to the house to watch it because it's an awesome card. Friday's my last day in my current position too, so it'll be walking in tired for that. But, it's worth it for these matchups. Nicholas Meregali and Kaynan Duarte have met
75 times.
A bunch of times, but only in the gi.
Yes.
And 6 months ago, Kaynan gave an interview where he was like, I want to see Meregali, I want to see Nogi. And I think he's talked about that before. Kaynan Duarte is the 2-time ADCC under 99 champion and plus 9. He's won. Jesus.
Click on his name, it'll tell you.
Well, not here, not in Flow.
Go into right there.
Boom. Bingo, bango. I know it's plus 99 and under 99 because 2019
First
was
place.
plus 99.
Yeah.
The next year was under 99. 2-time ADCC champion Nicholas Meregali looked amazing in ADCC, but we still have a lot of X factors about how his grappling looks in Nogi, especially versus a guy that is as decorated as Kaynan. Like, he medaled at ADCC. Nicholas Meregali took third, but can he beat Kaynan? Can he beat him in who's number 1? So, what are your thoughts on the matchup, Josh?
I think Meregali beats him.
Really?
That's just my thoughts.
Why?
Why? I just think he beats him.
In decision by.
I think he submits him.
With what? This is a hot take. This is not. We didn't talk about this before the show. You think he submits him with?
I think he's going to attack the legs of Kaynan, and then he's going to take the back.
Okay.
And he's going to choke him.
We're going to get choke?
Yep.
All right. Well, that's...
I think they're going to wrestle for a little bit, and then Meregali's going to go like, you know what? I don't want to waste this much energy up here. And he's going to sit, and he's just going to immediately start attacking the legs.
Because if there's one way to submit Kaynan, typically in Nogi, it has been with leg locks. And it's been an issue we've seen kind of repeatedly throughout his brown belt career into his black belt career, even at the one of the big Who's Number One Grand Prix with Spriggs. Like, it's been a kind of historic issue that he has had at the highest level versus the highest level guys. But you think he's gonna use leg locks, you think, to get to the back? He's gonna use
leg locks to get to the back.
So he's gonna essentially do what Felipe did to Gordon all those years ago, or a lot what everyone's doing nowadays, which is transitioning off of the legs.
I think he's just gonna go for it and go, can't get it. I'm gonna go to the back now.
You think 50-50? You think like outside? You just think he's gonna in a scramble?
He's gonna start tying him up. He's gonna start reaping the leg. He's gonna attack. Kaynan's going to bail, and
Meregali's gonna wrestle him up and take.
Meregali's gonna wrestle up, come down, body lock, come around, take the back, and finish him.
So before this, I had Duarte in my head. I was like, Duarte.
That's fine, and I'm totally fine with being absolutely wrong.
No, but you've now presented a phenomenal argument where I'm like, yeah, tactically. So Meregali's now at the New Wave team, and Kaynan's at Atos, been at Atos for a long time now. John Danaher is, for however you think, a phenomenal game planner. And you know that he's going to have a game plan for Meregali. We've also seen a lot of Meregali on the back recently in some of the training images and footages. That's where we've seen him most.
The only upside to if Meregali loses, and this is has nothing to do with what you were just talking about.
Okay.
It just popped into my head, and it made me chuckle on the inside, and I needed to get it out, is that if he loses, is Danaher going to call him a junior or not claim him as part of the team to say that they didn't lose?
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised.
That would be so cold-blooded. That was really funny to me.
I've seen it before. I think that we've seen a ton from Meregali in the back. I think that if you're going to identify a weakness in Kaynan's game, I don't think Meregali has the Nogi wrestling to routinely take Kaynan down. Again, we've seen for the New Wave guys, though, they have Bodoni and Gordon. They've been using the same particular kind of foot sweep and trip down and drag to get behind people. We've seen them all. Mm-hmm. We've even seen, who else? Taza. Basically, everyone from that camp.
Some of those guys do that. Anybody that fought from like 185 pounds and down, you see that style of takedown. Meregali doesn't do that.
Yeah, he really does. He's weird because he doesn't have a lot of the same tendencies that a lot of the
bigger guys don't. I don't think they wrestle like that.
Gordon's the only guy. Gordon and Bodoni both do that exact same like takedown sequence, but I'm trying to think of if Big Dan or
Big Dan pulls guard.
He does. Luke Griffith, kind of he's used it before. But I don't think he's kind of built. He's not really built like Meregali. He's got a very different build to Meregali.
Both
enormous.
Shit,
they're both enormous folks. Yeah, So my thought. So regardless of what you said, which now I'm like in my head, like that's how you would game plan to beat Kaynan is you'd enter his legs, you'd force a reaction from him. Because Meregali probably doesn't have the leg lock chops to be able to submit him because has not spent as many years in.
He was hanging around with Craig.
Man, I forgot about that. But that was more defense. He didn't really put up a ton of offense there. This is him.
But that was
attacking.
off of what? Like before that,
6
3
months?
matches of like
I think
Nogi
5,
before he came into the ADCC.
And had to fight the best leg locker in the world in Craig Jones. Yeah, a lot can change. A lot can change really quickly.
And that's all he's been doing recently.
Yeah, it's again with Meregali. Every time we talk about Meregali, it's really just like an X factor of like, okay, what new pieces of Nogi has he added to his game?
And his gi guard translates pretty well to Nogi, and translates pretty well to
Dealing with Kaynan. Yeah, because he gets underneath you, sort of.
Well, he does that De La Riva X thing. He does that
where he can knock you over and pull the leg forward.
Yeah, I mean he does a lot of stuff with the legs entering through to where he can just start pummeling the legs through. If you go from outside to inside or inside to outside, either way, like he's doing something where he's going to be throwing him off. And I don't think that Kaynan is going to get in close. And even if he does, you've got guys like Gordon, guys like Big Dan, guys like
Luke Griffith
that all pass that way. Bodoni passes that way. They're all body lock passing in and staying tight. It's like
Meregali's dealt with that in the room for a year plus now, more than that. Ah, man.
Tell me who's better at body lock passing
than Gordon.
Than them.
One. Yeah, no. Okay, so I think I'm wrong now, but I'm gonna give you on the.
No, I mean, like
now you've funny. So I thought Kaynan was gonna take it. I thought we were gonna see a very similar match to sort of what we saw late stage ADCC, where he was going to be able to take Meregali down in a wrestling exchange, and he was going to be able to kind of hold him there and control. Meregali was going to be able to get up, but he was never going to be able to get Kaynan like off of him enough to be able to make that. It's like Kaynan was going to be tricky enough in the stand-up to like kind of dictate, kind of push the pace, be a very, very small, close margin. And then he was going to be able to do one thing and throw Meregali off and take like a really close decision from Meregali. But I like yours is more interesting. I hope yours happens.
Listen to what you just said and tell me how boring.
That's what I think.
That sounds.
That's what I thought it was going to be, though. I think that's Kainan's best avenue towards victory for a guy like Meregali. For a guy they've went against each other a lot in the gi.
There's no grips. There's no slowing them down with those kind of things. Go the opposite way. But like in Kainan's, like going on Kainan's side, push the pace. Like be mean, wrestle hard, try to get inside, try to get him up and get past his legs immediately, and just constantly keep pressure and changing sides, and try to like get to a strong position, even if he's not 100% past, like trap an arm, try to go for a Kimura and try to start peeling out from there, try to build that up into taking the back,
we've
like
just
getting
not
through.
Seen anyone control Meregali was kind of my thought now.
Okay, but you have to put, who have we seen that like has been up to that level?
Nobody.
For him to do that. Like, no offense to any of his opponents, but like Lovato's older. Lovato's a motherfucker.
Yeah.
But he's older. He's not going to do that. What's his name? The dude from the brown belt guy from Legion that stepped up and
Miha Preve.
No.
Sloan.
No. I
can't remember they're both black belts now.
I can't remember his name. He was also, I think he was also on Who's Next. I can't remember. I'm blanking right now. But he blew him up. His next match, bring him up.
We got this for this reason.
Bring him up.
Like we're in 2022,
go up towards,
Broiler Grout, Lovato, Henry Cardoso. He takes a referee decision over Yuri Samois at ADCC. He loses to Craig Jones via referee decision at the semifinals ADCC. He beats Lovato again, or he beats him at ADCC. He beats Trattor via injury. He beats Bodoni in absolute in the quarters in ADCC. He beats Tye via a really close ref decision. And so the Tye match is the one I kind of think about, where it was like...
But what does Tye do?
He pushes the pace. He pushes the pace like nobody else. And even Tye was dying and continued to push the pace. So and that's why I thought this is the match, the archetype match is what I thought kind of would implement. It's like, okay, the Tye match was really close. That's what I thought what Tynan would do, being a bigger guy, bigger than
But you
Tye,
gotta push
stronger.
the pace like Tye to do that.
Which Kaynan typically doesn't do. He just typically doesn't do it like that.
That's what you should do.
Yeah. Can he do it though?
He
And he triangled Pedro Mourinho at who's number one this year. In the gi, which is a whole different Meregali. So you still think Meregali?
I still think Meregali.
Yeah.
I think he would have to. I think Kaynan would have to push the pace like so hard and just put it on him and just.
I think if it's a really boring match, it's Duarte. I think if it is an exciting match
at your TV, if it's a really boring match,
if it's an exciting match, you've swayed me, which kind of rarely happens, to Meregali. I think that is a much better avenue. Is that Meregali is going to get a scramble going and control, especially with the big leaps we've been seeing him make, match to match to match to match with the new wave guys. So that's that match. Anything else on that match? Any other thoughts?
Nope.
All right, let's move on to the next match. Co-main event, Ffion Davies versus Jasmine Rocha. This is a really exciting flyweight title fight. Jasmine has looked very, very good recently. She looked good at trials. Where'd she at? She's been doing ADCC in Dallas. A lot of finishes in Dallas, with only like one decision and then 1 points win in the last two for the absolute, for the semifinals and the finals. And Jasmine's not gigantic. So for her to take the absolute at Dallas is impressive.
Lost to Cravar by heel hook.
But Fion's not a really strong leg locker. Mostly from the top position, mostly an armbar threat.
But what's she doing? Who's she training with?
Gabriel Souza, JT Torres.
Who's in the room too? Brene Souza. He's going to be throwing that wild stuff as well.
Is he there now?
He was up there training.
Oh, interesting. Yeah,
Lost to Mo Black.
Yeah,
in the finals of her weight
at Denver. Yeah, that was referee decision.
Lost to Tammy Musumeci
last year, and that was at Nogi Worlds, and that was again her first world final there.
Lost to Anna Rodriguez.
Points panned.
Lost to Brianna St. Marie.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm not putting her down. This is going up. Like
we're going
back
up
into last year.
Yeah.
Lost to Maisa Bastos, Fatima Klein, again, Brianna St. Marie. Like
at trials. But I think that Jasmine's also gotten better, but I think Ffion has also gotten better and now is the current world champion and ADCC champion at the weight.
Ffion
makes a strong argument for currently the best pound-for-pound woman in the world.
She's that chick.
Yeah. Now, my only concern is Ffion has a couple of losses as well.
To people that I feel are significantly larger than her.
Didn't she get...
I mean, she's lost to people like... she's lost to Footlocks before she got her leg broke.
Yep. Didn't she? Yeah, Elizabeth Clay. That's Polaris. That's the one I'm thinking about. When that Polaris GP.
She came in and did that, but I don't... See, even then...
That was a weird match. I think if Jasmine takes this, I think she's going to have to submit Ffion. I think she's going to have to do it by footlock. That historically has been the area that you can sort of like contend with Ffion, because Ffion recently has kind of held out and worked into footlock positions with a little less urgency. But if you can't do that,
she came for that world's gold.
Yeah. I mean,
that was the last thing that she was on that I remember, and I think it legitimately is the last thing that she was on.
I believe so, yeah.
You're coming off of that, and you're just putting in that pace at JT's gym. You're working. Like, she's going to work. She is going to be rough on Jasmine. Like,
yeah.
Jasmine it legitimately has to be ready for, like,
the best in the world
fight.
Yeah, I think so. I'm excited for this.
She's going to come in hot and heavy.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Fion's ADCC run is Brianna St. Marie in the finals, a 10-0 victory over Brianna St. Marie, who has a victory over Jasmine Rocha again last year, or a year and a half ago. Bia Mesquita, 6-0 victory. Former world champion, former ADCC champion. Okay, that's your semifinals. In your first round, she rear naked chokes Adele Fornino.
She's beat Rafaela Gaitis.
Paige Yvette. Margot Cicerelli at the World Championships in 2022.
Janina, multiple times.
Yep, current world champion, GP
No,
winner. Oh yeah, that year. Yep, you're right.
No, look, go down to 2023. She beat her in the finals.
Oh, beat her in the finals this year. Yep, you're right.
Twice, 2 years in a row.
I think Ffion is pound for pound the best woman in the world, and I think Jasmine will potentially one day get there. But I think this is a really, really tough matchup.
A hard match to be thrown into.
I think the only way that Jasmine can beat this is by like going balls to the wall with pace and go wild and go out on the legs, because it's the one area that Ffion hasn't like been bulletproof in, and that's it.
You're at JT's.
Yeah,
you've got Gabriel Souza. Like,
yep.
You've got JT. You've got all those other guys.
Do you think Ffion is able to finish? Is my question. I think Ffion can control, can probably out wrestle Jasmine. I think can probably get her down. Do you think she gets the back?
Rear naked choke.
Okay.
Rear naked choke.
That's kind of where I think that she's going to. That's kind of what I think she's going to path towards.
Either that or an arm bar.
Those are that's kind of Fion's bread and butter.
From one to the other though. If she doesn't finish that rear naked choke, I bet you she'll swing over and go to that armbar and finish it that way. Then
that is sort of my thought as well. She's gonna look. I think she's gonna look for Jasmine's back. I think she's probably gonna fight through Jasmine exploding through and to go for the legs early, but I think she's probably going to pass off of that and then be able to look for the back and look for the arm or the neck. So it's super exciting. I love that they're bringing both these ladies out. I'm happy that they got Ffion. Again, I think she's pound for pound the best in the world. And this is two phenomenal matches in the main and co-main event. On the main card, this is one with a ton of X factors too. We have Dante Leon versus Ethan Crelinsten. Dante's back at lightweight. This is for the lightweight title. He was previously at
like 70
and 85. And now he's moved all. He went through all the matches he could have in those weight classes and was like, there are better, interesting matches at 55. I'm going to have to cut the weight and go to 55 again. He's looked absolutely shredded. He just had a match against PJ Barch at 24/7 Fighting. That was up in Pittsburgh. He beat PJ Barch by referee decision. He rear naked choked Ruan Alvarenga at who's number 118. Go back and watch that match. Do you want to see how good Dante is? That was a tough match, and then he just turned it up. He beat Jefferson Gusari. Garessi. Always want to call him Gusari. He went against Cyborg at Grappling Industries.
Did you watch that? That was so boring that they didn't call Cyborg for like stalling.
Yeah, it was. It could have gone down his way, and that was in the absolute of that division. Dante's been busy.
All over the place.
He beat armbar. He beat PJ again by armbar in ADCC. He loses in the semifinals to Micah Galvao in ADCC.
In a weird match.
Yeah, definitely a weird match.
But he beat him before that at...
Who's number one? I think...
He beat him at...
No, he lost to who's number one. That was really controversial.
Oh, that was the match.
Yes, that was the really controversial match.
I swear he beat him in something else, though. Did he not?
No, that was the first time they'd met because...
Oh, maybe I'm thinking of Tye Ruotolo.
No, Ethan Crelinsten had that weird match with Cade.
But I'm thinking of Tye Ruotolo because they went against each other twice.
Yes. So Ethan Crelinsten up at 55 now, which I think is a much better weight for him, not cutting, shitloads of weight. Recent match against Fabricio Andrew, who's number one, where he ran choked him, but that was again in 2022. Ethan's been doing combat jiu-jitsu. He's been doing some other stuff that's actually not on his BJJ Heroes record. I'm trying to think now of who else he's been against recently. He's looked really good recently, but not been on like something major in a minute. He has a loss to Josh Cisneros at ADCC by armbar in one of the most exciting matches of that tournament, and that's saying something because that was a phenomenal tournament. That crowd went crazy during that match. Lost to Diego Oliveira by decision, Gabriel Souza by decision back in 2021. Those are the only things we have in front of us for records. Ethan is one of my favorite dudes.
He's so...
But Dante is also on that short list as well. I think
this will be a very exciting match.
I think it's going to be a pace match.
I think it might steal the show.
This is going to be...
Depending on how it goes.
I don't see a world in which this is not fight of the night. Like, everyone else is exciting
It's going to
here.
be fire.
I think this is going to be fire. It's both guys at 55. Ethan's not cutting the weight, so he's going to be quick. Dante looks phenomenal at 55. If the weight cut doesn't diminish him, but he didn't look diminished last time. He just looked jacked and shredded. I think both these guys are going to throw a ton of wrestling at each other. I think... See, the weird thing is both these guys are super happy to play off their back, too. Like, Dante has an amazing guard. Crelinsten also has a really good guard that he's very comfortable with.
Crelinsten's been doing a lot of wrestling.
Yeah.
And I'm interested to see them both wrestle each other.
I think Dante is the stronger wrestler, but Crelinsten, because how much wrestling he has been doing, they're going to wrestle at the beginning.
It's going to be awesome.
I think that Dante probably is able to beat Ethan here, but I think that it is phenomenally exciting, and this is definitely going to be match of the night, I think. How do you think you think Dante wins it by decision, or you think he's able to submit Ethan? We've seen Ethan submitted, but he is notoriously hard to put away. And the bigger the stage, the harder he is to put away.
I don't know if the weight cut is going to affect Dante. It didn't look like it did, but I don't know if it will. And it'll be really interesting to see.
If he's gonna
safe bet would be Dante by decision. Being safe.
That's kind of what I want to lean on.
But I want to see the match and see what happens, honestly. Like,
who's the better leg locker is the question.
Ethan.
Really? That was a quick answer. I mean, he's a B team, but Dante's a really good leg locker, but he's with Craig and he's
I don't think there's a comparison. And Ethan's been leg locking since forever.
Yeah. Dante, I know I look at Dante for his knee bars. I've taken a ton of Dante's knee bar game. Ethan's more of a heel hook guy. I thought, yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Ethan will get to the legs better, but you have Dante's pressure. So it's going to be pressure versus finesse and a lot of speed.
Yeah. I think both these guys are going to be willing to fight in the scramble.
Dude, I hope this is just like two cats fighting in a back alley.
I hope they give him a break in the middle of the match for like 2 minutes.
No, I want them to go 6 gear from the beginning. I just want them to just scrap. Yeah. I think that I honestly...
This is for the time. This is for the lightweight title. So both these guys put it on the line.
This one, for me, is like what I'm really, really looking forward to, because I don't think that either of them are going to play like timid. I want the... Dude, if they do that, and if they break my fucking heart and do that, I'm going to be so upset. I just want them to just beat the shit out of each other.
I think Dante takes this. I think he takes it via decision. I think it is a wild match where both guys have moments. I think Ethan's going to end with the legs.
If I had to put money on it, I would say Dante, but I don't want to put money on it. I just want to see an amazing jiu-jitsu match.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to leave it at that.
This is going to be fun. Look out for fireworks here. I think they match up very well. I think that Dante's definitely going to be the bigger guy with the stronger pressure game. But depending on how Crelinsten looks recently, looks jacked as fuck, it'll be interesting. Next one. Kind of a weird one. I've been thinking about this for a couple of days now. Felipe Pena versus Haisam Rita. Haisam Rita is now at B Team. He's been at B Team for a couple of months now.
Beating up people breaking into his car.
Yeah, I love that video. I think that Felipe Pena beats Haisam Rita.
He should.
He should.
He should.
I mean,
but
yeah,
you slow down Felipe.
Haisam has some of the best flash subs at heavyweight of anyone.
Dog, he's got a sick arm bar.
Like, that armor of Cyborg is
super long arms. It'll be interesting to see what happens. It'll be interesting to see him wrestle a little bit more. It'll be interesting to see if Felipe shoots, especially later in it, which I don't think he will, but if he shoots, I have a feeling he could get sloppy and Haisam could like darce him or something.
Yeah, Heisam's got a really weird
Are we witnessing the decline of Felipe Pena?
I think that's kind of what we're... I think this match, in the next year, we're going to see like Felipe get a little older. And it may be this match, it may not be this match, but I think if Haisam takes this and can control Pena, this will be like the marker. But Pena's been spending time at Atos for the Gordon camp, and Pena looks, has looked very good. Brought in Craig for that.
Craig can go, okay, this is what he did.
Yeah.
This will be another interesting one too, but it's again a safe assumption to say that Felipe will win.
I also think we're going to see Felipe's guard. We're going to see him play that weird bear trap. I think Hysam's legs are going to be long. He's going to be able to keep Hysam's legs down and controlled in the guard and be able to end up on top of Rita. I think Rita notoriously is super annoying to hold down. You think he takes his back?
Felipe is going to take his back.
You think he's going to finish him?
I think that's if we go from the finish is going to come from the back.
That's typically how Felipe likes to finish in anything. So I think that Felipe's guard is going to be difficult for Rita to deal with. I think Rita's going to have an exciting moment in this match, but I think that it's going to be mostly Penna, once they get it down, controlling from the guard, and Rita being unable to get past, because Felipe, I think, has one of the best guards in the world at heavyweight. So this one could be a slower match,
yes,
unfortunately. But again, I'm really curious to see the new tools that Haisam Rita has being a B team now, because those guys are obviously, and he's been talking about things that he's adding to his game in that room. So
there's a lot of fast-paced matches on this card, on the main card.
Yeah.
Right. So the next match, Nicky Ryan versus Rene Souza. Rene Souza will fight from the bottom, but he'll dog it, and Nicky Ryan again he will dog it, and he's been wrestling a whole lot, and if you watch their videos, you see him,
the B team guys.
He's scraps. This will be another one, but
the thing with Nicky Ryan is we don't see him compete. He's injured so frequently, and we don't see him compete with any degree of regularity, that it's always a big X factor of like, how is Nicky Ryan
look?
His last big
match was Dante Leon, wasn't it?
ADCC was his last match, I think.
Did he take Leon before? Leon was before that, or
I believe so. Yeah, because he went against Nicky Ryan in like 2022, like early 22. If I can find the matchup here, Barch. It was a who's number one match. Let me think of his last match. Dante Leon was 2021, road to ADCC, and he won. But that was
fought more recently. That's where he hurt his leg. Remember?
That was road to ADCC.
That was not that match.
I think that was. And he went against Hanato Canuto in 2021. 2022 for ADCC, and he lost by points. Like Nicky Ryan, it's a big X factor of like, how is he gonna look?
Long ago?
Yeah, man.
Wow.
Again, Nicky Ryan doesn't compete very frequently. I mean, his entire BJJ Heroes record from 2017 is Agazarm, a loss to ADCC when he was the youngest entrant to ADCC ever in the first round. Next to ADCC, 2019, wins over Change Hill Taylor by points, loses to Paulo Miao in the quarters. Then in 2020, he beats Jay-Z Cavalcante by inside heel hook at Substars. 2020, he loses to Tye Ruotolo, referee's decision. 2020, he beats Tony Ramos, the wrestler, by outside heel hook. 2021, PJ Barch, he wins a decision at who's number 1-8. Gabriel Almeida wins a decision at who's number 1-9. And then Dante Leon.
2 years ago?
Yeah, man, he had injury at ADCC. He had the surgery, and then he had the knee thing, and now he's back. Like, it really is a question of where Nicky Ryan is at. Like, apparently, everyone at B Team talks about him like he is like the best in the world. He's impossible to submit. He's impossible to put away. He's hard to deal with in every single spot. But when it comes to competition, we just don't see him competing with a huge degree of regularity. So it's a big X factor. Like, I think he should be able to beat Rene Souza based on just what we've seen from the past, the level he's been competing at for years. But Rene Souza competes frequently, is going to be comfortable in that space in a way that Nicky Ryan might not be. And so it's just a big X factor. I think Nicky Ryan takes it because of, again, overall the level he's been competing at for the past 6 years. But to watch Rene Souza just take a really crafty match, be comfortable, push a pace, force Nicky Ryan to get tired, it really wouldn't surprise me. We don't have much to go on.
X Factor, but
Yeah.
I feel safe with rear naked choke from the back.
For Nikki Ryan?
Yep.
I wouldn't. Yeah.
I've said that like 4 times.
That wouldn't surprise me. So that's that match at welterweight. Andrew Tackett versus Troy Russell at welterweight.
Troy Russell, I think, is from Lovato's.
I believe so. Yeah,
And
that sounds right.
He had a match on the last one. He looked awesome.
Mm-hmm. Tackett's a monster.
Tackett wrestles bulls, man.
No, this is the other one. This is Andrew. I thought it was William.
Yeah,
oh,
Andrew.
man. I'm like, this sucks. In my head, this has been William Tackett the whole time that I'm thinking about
Doesn't
Williams'
suck.
game.
I think it's gonna be a scramble fest.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a lot
This will be good.
Moving and shaking.
I'm going to Andrew Tackett.
Yes.
I'm more familiar with his game. Troy Russell impressed the shit out of me last Who's Number One.
Absolutely.
So watching him take another big win, another big victory,
Tackett's gonna
wouldn't
turn
surprise
on the
me.
Afterburners, man.
But Tackett, the Tackett, Steele, well, both Tackett brothers, and I think and even Caleb Tackett, like they have a sixth gear and a seventh gear that is almost unmatchable. I've seen very few. That whole Brazilian Fight Factory team,
Them boys
like,
go.
Those guys have a gas tank that is unbreakable. And so, like, if Andrew Tackett decides to leverage that, it's hard. This should be fun. This is a
And if
welterweight
that's
matchup
the first match on the card, what a pace to set.
for the main event, for the main card.
For
Yeah.
the main card.
So it'll be fun. Let's talk a little bit about that. That one's, again, I think Andrew takes that. I'm more familiar with his game, so that's kind of a gut pick that I make versus Troy Russell. We were impressed with Troy Russell last time, so seeing an upset win wouldn't surprise me, but the guys with a gas tank like Andrew Tackett, I don't really want to bet against too much, and he's always also new black belt, rapidly making improvements in that Brazilian Fight Factory camp down in Austin. Also a local matchup for him. He doesn't fly out. Troy's going to have to fly out for that. Comfort of competing in his own city. It is a factor. Undercard. We did have Sebastian Rodriguez versus Hunter Coven. Hunter Coven's out. I don't know if they're going to replace an opponent for Sebastian Rodriguez.
It'll come out tomorrow morning right after the episode comes out.
As it always does. I hope that they do. But right now we don't have one. Ben Eddy versus Carlos Henrique. So Ben Eddy's actually one of the guys that I watched an interview from recently talking about doing the ADCC Opens, and like, yeah, he goes, I'm new who's number one, but I'm really looking for more ADCC matches leading up to trials. So he's been talking about going to the Opens and getting more ADCC experience.
Go to them.
Yeah, I think it was that. The Hindilitine. Look for Ben Eddy and the Hindilitine. Hindulitine. I knew I was messing up a word here. And he's versus Carlos Henrique. Henrique's very hard to put away, but if there's anyone that can like
do something wild.
Ben Eddy is extremely unorthodox. He's a 10th planet guy. We haven't talked about him in a couple of years, I don't think.
He's been doing all sorts of stuff all over the place.
He's notoriously very hard to put away, and he has an amazingly tricky close-range guard game. And he will put his foot over like he was going to go plata you, and he'll do a very specific guillotine variation with his foot and leg that is the Hindulitine that he is the guy for in the world.
He does a Dead Orchard a lot, too.
And because a lot of guys never see it, because you need pretty phenomenal flexibility to set it up, a lot of guys don't know how to deal with it because you probably have never seen a guy in your gym ever throw it at you or be able to throw at you. And then you have a guy with his main thing uses that technique. He's a super specialist. I think if Carlos Henrique stays out of that, he can beat Ben Eddy. Ben Eddy, we've seen him get beaten by pressure. Carlos Henrique has a lot of really good pressure from top. I think he can get through Ben Eddy's guard and like hold him down and control him. But if you sit too long in Ben Eddy's guard, he's gonna put you in a tough spot.
Something wild.
So I think that's if Carlos Henrique can stay out of his guard and pressure him and pass him, I think he can take it. But I think if he sits too long in Ben Eddy's guard, we're gonna see like another highlight reel, either armbar or choke from Ben Eddy. I think it's one of those two true outcome matches. Next match we have Helena Cravar versus Healy Dayan. I'm not familiar with Dayan. Cravar has looked phenomenal recently. We just talked about her.
Cravar?
What'd I say?
Cravar.
Is it Cravar or Cravar?
Everything I've heard is Helena Cravar.
Cravar.
I mean, I could be absolutely wrong.
Helena looked good. She's had some really good matches recently. She's been to ADCC. I've watched a lot of her ADCC matches at the Opens. Super impressed. She's now at New Wave with the DDS, with
the New Wave team.
With the New Wave team, with Danaher and Gordon and all of those folks. And I think they are looking to make her their female champion. She looked good at Who's Number One. At the Fight Pass Invitational. She had a super fight on that. I think that they are looking to push her and move her up the ranks quickly, and this is another good match for her on Who's Number One.
She's like 16, right?
16 or 17. I think she's maybe 17 now, but yeah, just right around there, just coming into like the adult ranks. But she's been competing as an adult for a couple of years now. We saw her at trials as like a 15-year-old and like put away a lot of people.
She gives me those Grace Gundrum vibes.
Yeah, where it's like, oh, you're you're a young child, hyper-focused, and very, very good and beating adults for years.
And it's like nothing.
Gonna win.
Just gonna like Grace would face get smashed and just be like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
and then
Gundrum just didn't care. And opening the card, we have Achilles Rocha versus JB Betchloff, middleweight. This should be fun. It's cool to have both Jasmine fighting for the flyweight title and siblings. Achilles. Yeah, both Wagner's children.
Is he a purple or is he a blue belt?
I think he's purple or brown now. I know he's purple. I know he's purple now. Okay. I think he's 17 now.
Okay.
So I think he's purple.
Do you remember like when we started?
Yes.
And we were talking about his kids match.
Yeah, on Fight to Win.
Yeah.
Was his kid. Yeah,
Achilles.
Like,
hey, that's Wagner's
and
kid.
Now we've seen him like on trials and on main events and on big events, and like it's been really cool to watch as we've gotten old, and my back's gotten bad.
As we've faded into obscurity as these young children that were beating each other up when they were 7 and 8 and 9 years old.
When we started doing the show, we like basically didn't cover kids matches. We still really don't now, but we've had to over the years start covering younger and younger grapplers, because now, especially with the kind of expansion of Nogi, we have like 15-year-olds very frequently now like, oh yeah, they're against this world champion, it's going to be a good match.
Oh yeah, like when Kolabate
yeah,
like
won
when he was
trials.
Up, when he was from this is a throwback where like Seth Daniels broke the news that he was going to Atos or to AOJ.
Yes.
When he was like, I'm not sure if I'm supposed to say this, but he's going to AOJ, and that kid is going to be a monster. And he wasn't wrong.
Yeah.
Who else? Who was that? This was a while ago too, and I'm gonna blank out.
So that does it for this card. Let's move into the outro.
Post show rambling
should be a great card. Watch it. It'll be fun. I cannot wait to break it down next week. Thursday, wish it was like at 7 or 6 start time so that we could end on a school night, Josh.
Dog, it's the summer still.
On a work night, on my last day, Josh.
I do this stuff all the time on like work nights.
Yeah, no, Josh, you're a champion though. I'm like a frail, broken back man. So
Maine
you were saying about other.
Maine was complaining yesterday, by the way, Saturday, about his back hurting from standing on mats.
Yeah.
For like 12 hours.
I can't stand for too long. My back hurts, Josh. My legs also hurt really bad.
Like, dude, you know I do this like for a living. Like right now, I only do it for like 8.5, 9 hours in total.
I sit at a desk, Josh.
And that's like short for me. I'm like, this is easy stuff. When I was doing it for like 16 hours
Josh,
a day,
I got home. I went to bed.
I will say it was exhausting, but you know,
I woke up at 4 a.m. and I was like,
so
my legs hurt really bad.
I just woke up because I fell asleep at like 9:30.
I fell asleep at 10 o'clock, which for me, I go to bed at usually like 1:30 in the morning. Old. Yeah, so it was good. But you were talking about one of the other kids that we had
from AOJ. Oh, I can't remember. It was like right after Nick went out there, and he was a white belt, and they were already doing like. He was doing like Barambolos.
Yeah.
And he had a
remember
white
hearing
belt
about Jonta Alves at Purple Belt? Like Jonta Alves, I remember we were seeing him at Purple Belt, and I was like, oh, this is going to be the guy. This is going to be a guy. And then he did a seminar out when he was a brown belt
here.
in Baltimore here.
Yeah.
Not us, but with another gym in Baltimore, and we were like that, and they were bringing him out to do seminars as a Brown. It's like, all right, this is gonna be a world champion in either this year or the next 2 years at black belt, and he was.
That DM'd you at one point. That's also from AOJ. Jacob
Brown.
Yeah.
Bo Brown. Yep. Yeah, he's doing phenomenal. Winning his divisions.
He was like a green belt, and he like DM'd us.
Yep.
Like,
hey, watch out for what it was like. It was a super respectful DM.
Oh, super! He was like a young kid. I think he was trying to get like some help with stuff, some sponsorship stuff, or whatever. And look behind the door. We don't make money doing this.
Yeah. At all.
Let me rephrase that. Maine doesn't make money from doing this. It's a passion project that has gone on for a really long time.
It has. Look, next week is 300 episodes of doing this weekly because it needed to get done. It needed to get done years ago because we were watching.
Nobody else was doing it.
Well, we were watching ADCC 2017.
Yeah.
And I've told the story, but I haven't told the story probably in a couple of years now on the show.
I told it 2 weeks ago.
Craig
Jones. Craig Jones beating that Leandro Lowe guy.
And everyone went, who is this Australian dude that is beating these guys, Murillo and Leandro? And, like, who's this dude? And we went to, like, try to figure out, and the whole community at large for BJJ went, like, who is this guy?
There was nobody that was covering.
There was no weekly coverage.
Everything.
And I went, you do not get to be as good as this guy is to be able to beat Murillo and Leandro without having won a whole host of other tournaments and big tournaments and, like, having been on the scene winning. Like, he won trials. Like, you don't just go and do that being like a random guy in 2017. You are a world beater, and you've been beating guys at this level or close to this level for a while now. You don't just break out. And so I went, well, Josh, is there anything I can watch? And he was like, nah, man. And so we essentially went, well, let's start talking about professional grappling every week. And then we did, and
we talked about a lot of grappling, not just jiu-jitsu for a long time.
Yeah, we did sumo for a couple of years. We did judo for a little bit. We did wrestling.
Anything.
And then really jiu-jitsu got big enough, and there were events every single week. Because when we first started in 2017 and 2018, we'd frequently have like 2 or 3 week breaks where it's like there's just not an event of any size happening. Like
filling stuff out.
Yeah. Where literally it was there's nothing to recap, there is nothing to preview, and there's nothing to preview next week. There's just 3 weeks, and like we didn't want to not do the shows on those weeks, so we would fill with other events and other grappling or other discussion pieces. And then about 2018, it became frequent enough where the end of 2018, we actually had to start paring down the events that we did cover, because we would cover 5 or 6 or 7 different events throughout the week, because we would try to cover everything coming up. And then it just became so numerous that we really weren't able to do that anymore, and had to pare down. Okay, well, we have to make some selections of what we're able to cover and how we're able to cover it. And so it's kind of morphed into the show now where there are major events happening to either preview or recap every single weekend, and there have been for years. It's still kind of
slowed down a little bit. I mean,
yeah,
the vid kind of hit everything really hard, and
I mean that was a weird time. But since everything has come back,
those episodes,
those were tough episodes.
Just talking about old things and
recapping old matches, because there was just stuff. We were just sitting at our houses.
Maine was like, you were sitting at your house. I was working.
Yeah. I was working too.
You could work from home.
Yeah, and I had to go on the field and do stuff too.
I couldn't. I was putting in 50, 60-hour weeks.
Jesus. So it's been really funny to watch the show grow and develop over the
place and figure stuff out
over 6+ years of doing it weekly, and
hem our little niche out in this podcast world.
Yeah, and then watch as we as we choose to now cover more and more and more kids that are on the level of the adult black belts in the men's and women's divisions. And it's like, in 2017 they weren't getting those matches. And a lot of them just weren't at that level. We didn't know if they were at the level because they weren't getting those matches. And the sport has really changed significantly, where we are now seeing 16-year-olds and 17-year-olds and some 15-year-olds entering the adult divisions against high-level competition and winning or performing very well, where it's like, I want to talk about them because they're going to continue to make improvements. And in 2 years, They're going to be a purple belt, and they're going to win a trial slot, or they're going to win this, or they're going to come and have this huge upset. And so let's start talking about those people now, because it'll give us an on-ramp to understand their game better and watch and enjoy their development as they move up the ranks. And when they get to black belt, like, yeah, well, they're going to win a world title first or second year because they're already on that level. So, I mean, hell, Kaynan Duarte was a blue belt or a purple belt when we started the show, I think.
We've talked about a lot of kids.
It's really funny. I was looking back. I forget who it was this week. And it was a match from 2017, and it would have been something it would have been an event that we had talked about on the show in 2017. And it was a picture of someone, and they're now a world champion, and they were a blue belt in 2017. And I went, these guys were a blue belt when we started doing this show, and they are now a black belt world champion. And we have watched them rise through, and it's been a cool journey. And we're about to hit episode 300. I wish I had a better. Too. Yeah.
There's been a rotating cast of the Grappling Rewind.
It has. You're still here though. I'm still here.
I'm hanging out in the background a lot. I am perfectly okay with Miranda taking the driver's seat with you.
Yeah.
I'll fill in when I can fill in, or when Zach fills in, or
Austin or Simon
or whoever.
Yeah.
You know. But Simon's also been in here a while, just like on the back end.
Simon was doing more writing work on the back end. We changed the website over. Like, Simon was a huge piece of all of that, because he's actually a journalist and knows how that works, and like taught me a bunch of things about, like, hey, we're actually doing sports coverage, and he was a sports journalist. Things like, this is how you're supposed to do these things. And I went, cool. I'm gonna take the things I like about that, and then we're gonna just keep doing what we're doing. Yeah. So yeah,
but we've also got to do a lot of cool things because of it.
Yeah, we do a lot of commentary now, which is awesome.
Met a lot of cool people.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to more. Looking forward to more
300 more episodes.
Well, don't get ahead of yourself. Like, let's take it 50 at a time. But Josh, you got anything else before we head out?
50 at a time. This guy's probably got like a whole spreadsheet of like, okay, this is what we're gonna do this time. This is what we're gonna do this time.
A little bit.
You want to talk about your most recent purchase really quick, because you're a crazy person?
Maybe. It's not really podcast related.
I just know I love Maine's quirkiness. He is a character, and if you ever get to just talk to him, just know that yes, he does talk that fast in real life, and yes, his brain does go off and wander when you're talking to him, but he will focus on the conversation that you're having, except for his brain is fighting at the other conversations that he wants to have as well.
Yeah, the podcast has been a really good exercise over the years to kind of learn a new skill to keep that on track and try to keep it on track.
And I am as dry and as stupid as I sound on this podcast, so not much is different. This is our actual personalities. You're like, who's the fat asshole bald guy? And it's like, nope, that's me in real life.
Josh, you got anything else?
No, that's
any nuggets of wisdom. As always in the show, I'm your host, Mange, my co-host,
Josh.
And we are the Grappling Rewind. You see on the mat what it is. Stay safe. If you like the show, please consider sharing it on Facebook with the folks at your gym. It's the best way that we grow the show, and we really appreciate it. You can reach out to us on email.
We also have Instagram. We have Facebook. We have Twitter. We have Google+.
Until that shuts down.
We have a website.
If you have an event you would like to have us cover, please let us know. If you have a name, like most people do, and you'd like to have us stop butchering it,
let us know.
Reach out to us. The show is also available on YouTube, Spotify, in addition to iTunes and every other podcast service. We very much appreciate your time, and thank you.